Hey, so I'm going to make $400,000 in profit this month, which is quite frankly absurd. And a big chunk of how I'm doing it is I record these daily videos every day, just walking you guys through what I'm doing on a day-to-day basis to make that money. It's very meta. It's very cool. And at least I think it's cool. I start them off with some YouTube comments. I answer questions in those YouTube comments. So you guys could ask them to just leave them on any video. Then I build and strategize in public for finally doing some growth stats on YouTube, Instagram, my products. I have a main channel here, 192.9K subs. And then I have the daily updates channel here where I just tried recording a video, but I found like there's something with the comment threading here. So it's not actually going correctly. But anyway, I had to scroll down to the bottom and decided to re-record it because I didn't start at the actual start. Okay. So when I was a noob in business, I had no idea what the hell I was doing. No idea what way was up, which way was down. And interestingly enough, I actually got most of my like knowledge, not from the big flashy YouTube channels that everybody watched, but from like the smaller ones that had very shitty production value and that were typically pretty underserved. Because I found that the like actionable information per minute, whatever that quantity is way higher on the small guys, believe it or not, because it's like the shit that we're actually doing to make money than the really, really big guys. And that's the whole idea of this YouTube channel. So yeah, it's not going to be super polished, but boy, am I going to try and upload my brain for you guys to download. So let's start with the Q&A and then let's do other stuff. VK Offline 12 says, I'm a solo founder, scaling an AI consulting agency, currently doing 10K a month from one high ticket client. You know, I found it interesting. I don't really consider, it's weird, but I don't think of founders as like agency owners, you know? It's odd. I just don't know why I've never really considered a founder to be like an agency owner. So when people say I'm a founder, it's like founder to me implies that you are like disrupting an industry or building something new fundamentally, but like an agency owner to me is not a founder. I don't know why. Am I crazy? Anyway, so this fella is doing 10K a month from one high ticket client. GTM leadership at an AI startup. I handle lead gen, nurturing, closing, pricing, positioning, and delivery. So this person basically runs the entire business. It's working, but I'm burning out fast. I also know that improving my own client acquisition is a lever to pull, but don't have the time. I want to scale to 25,000 a month without breaking myself. A few questions. Thank you so much and love your honest feedback. What is the smartest path from 10K to 25K? What would you do in my shoes? The very first thing I would do is I would quantify how much time I'm currently spending delivering the deliverables for the $10,000 a month client. And to be clear, if you have one client, you don't really have a business as much as you are just like a contractor of that company. Okay. You are an AI consultant. You're not really running a consulting agency. Let's just call it what it is, right? So I would quantify how much time am I spending on this business? What sort of deliverable am I producing? So line item breakdown. And then, because you can do this because you're involved with like all sides of the stack, figure out how much money is this business making off of my time? And what you need to do is you need to find a way to get that to between 15 to maybe 25%, I would say. So if you are generating, let's say $100,000 a month for this business, you should be getting paid $15,000 to $25,000 a month for this business. Okay. You should be making like a quarter of the money that you're driving. And that's totally fair, just considering that you are owning the stack. You are basically an operator of this business. So I would make it abundantly clear, you know, what are the deliverables? How much time am I spending? Like quantify, toggle, time tracker, hell, use the clock app or whatever. I use it all the time on my Mac OS. And yeah, that's the number one. So once you take stock of where you're at, now we can worry about the rest, which is productize, raise prices, blah, blah. So how do you productize and raise prices without killing results? You doing this whole thing, believe it or not, is not actually the result here. The reason why you're generating results. The reason why you're generating results to the client is probably because you're just doing too much. It's not that like you are doing all. You're just doing like too much of each of these things. Okay? So it's like, you know, if I get a dude to work 16 hours a day for me, and he generates twice as much as a dude working 8 hours a day, is it a question of the business model? Or is it a question of the fact that I'm just freaking squeezing him like a wet towel? Obviously, you know, hard work and effort can overwrite what strategy can provide, I would say. So yeah, you're pretty mature, I would say, and like emotionally aware here of what's going on. You just need to follow through with it. So how do you raise prices without killing results? You need to demand more value. Demand more money for the value that you're providing, or you need to raise the amount of value you're providing for the money that you're demanding. Should I have a content inbound playbook for trust and deal flow? That just seems like you'd like saw some fun sounding words on YouTube or you read it in a blog post and you're like, that's what I need. Better instead to approach all of this stuff from a constraints perspective where you take stock, as I mentioned, of all of the time you're spending on various steps, plus all the deliverables you're responsible for owning, plus the amount of money that you are generating for the client, and then just find where the tightest bottleneck is. And then once you know what the tightest bottleneck is, then try and solve the problem. If you try and just throw solutions at your pipeline before fully understanding where the constraint is in the pipeline, you're just like putting a cart before the horse. Who are your 1 to 2 hires to get out of delivery bottlenecks? I would not hire to get out of a delivery bottleneck the way that you're pitching this, because if you think about it, hiring is like a Band-Aid that you are putting on. You are not dealing with the symptom of the problem, which is your business model. You are dealing with an outcome, which is the fact that like you don't have enough time in the day, and you shouldn't be doing that. You can restructure how you are currently delivering services, maybe not to this particular client without sacrificing the contract. I don't know, but you can restructure how you're currently delivering services to do way more than 10K a month before burning out. You know, there are people in Maker School, Make Money with Make, that do like $20,000, $30,000 a month, which is 2 to 3x, and they don't even work a full like 8 hours a day. So it very much a business model problem here. You got to solve the business model, man. Okay. Now we're getting to the old ones. Hey, Nick, thank you very much, MaveTube. Hey, Nick, regarding AI automation, what should be implemented on the client-facing side of a performance dashboard that shows ROI-related information? You know, a really important point that I want to make just while I'm sick and kind of being a piece of shit to people that are asking me questions, which I have appreciated of, by the way, is concision. So concision is just like the term concision refers to being concise, right? So you're using a lot of words here to say something very little. What you're saying is, hey, what should I add to a dashboard? Does client-facing really provide any additional information here? Like, no, for being pragmatic, dashboards are by nature something you are building for the client, right? So client-facing side, regarding an AI automation system, like is this even an AI automation system? No, this is a dashboard that shows ROI-related information. I mean, I think you just hit the nail on the head, man. Like you're trying to show ROI, right? So what is involved in ROI? Well, like literally ROI, return on investment. How much money are they spending with you? How much money are they making? What is the multiple there? 4x, 10x, 15x? What do you suggest for a client-facing CRM? Well, by definition, CRMs are client-facing, right? Like you're building this for the customer, so it's going to be client-facing. If the system is built with N8N, with is doing a lot of heavy lifting here, so we need to be a little bit more clear. Are you building N8N automations on the back end of a CRM? Because you're not going to build a CRM in N8N, because a CRM is something that is, it's like a front-end thing. So, I would say like concision is a really important skill, man. And I was, I guess, blessed enough to have, believe it or not, a high school teacher from way back in the day that would just ruthlessly murder me if I used more words than I needed to in order to express some concept. Clearly did not translate into the yapping on my YouTube videos. But, I think it would do you really well to just like, before you, post something, just like stop for a second and be like, okay, what am I trying to say? How do I say it? Anyway. I think white labeling the customer-facing side with agency branding gives great credibility. What is your take on establishing a brand from the very beginning through a white label solution? What is my take on establishing a brand from the beginning through a white label solution? What is my take? So what do I think about white labeling? Is that right? What do I think about white labeling? I think it has its place. Yeah, I white label a lot of stuff. Can be worthwhile, but I don't really think it makes sense to go much more in depth on that than this. And then what's your take on Go High Level? It's cool. Yeah, you can make money with Go High Level. Nick, how do you know which node to use in N8N? Does Maker School guide or teach us how to customize our business processes? I should show you guys that I'm now, go to automation tutorials. I now have a program called N8N Accelerator right over here, where I run through everything involved that you need to know in N8N in order to get up and running with it. And I'm recording videos now. So I've recorded that video. I think I need to record this video, and I'm just working my way down the stack, but I have it all in text form now, which is cool. And it includes like building real workflows and stuff like that for clients and whatnot. So yeah, I walk you through everything you need to know, at least the 80-20. Snicker Spotlight. Hello, Nick. I'm currently learning how to build appointment setting chatbots for coaches. I have 2 short questions for you. 1, if you were learning how to build chatbots, what would you learn first? Number 2, I've tried, but you can't really sell chatbots in the market right now because people find it too basic. And even if you find a client, most people won't pay much. How do you position yourself if you were selling them? Would you position yourself as the chatbot expert or an AI lead ops, something fancy like this? Well, I think you're hitting on a good question here, a good point really, which is that, selling the I guess like the feature, like the fact that it like chats with you in a human-like nature is less important than selling the outcome, which is like, what does the chatbot actually do for the business? And positioning things as like, hey, I sell AI chatbots is not very valuable Because like any market, people started selling this stuff and then people started competing on the price. And then you ended up with like a commodity style situation which raced to the bottom. And now people sell chatbots for $10 a month. So I guess what I'm trying to say is like, great point here. And I think the thing that you're dancing around is just like, hey, you need to start selling outcomes. So transformations in business, not necessarily the products that lead to that transformation. So think less, hey, I sell chatbots, and more, hey, I sell speed to lead systems that on average double your top of funnel. Or, hey, I sell speed to lead systems that on average generate $15,000 for businesses between $50,000 to $100,000 in the digital agency space or something. Like think outcomes, you know what I mean? That's how you frame it. And then, yeah, if I was learning chatbots, what would I learn first? Honestly, it's really it's all prompting nowadays. And you don't even need to know RAG, retrieval augmented gen. You just you just literally stack everything in GPT 4.1 mini, which is a context window of 1 million tokens. You just download the whole client knowledge base, download all of their articles, download all of their PDFs and convert them into text, OCR everything, dump it in, man. And like, if it's too long, then just compress it a little bit, like tell AI, hey, I want you to make this like shorter. So eliminate all the white space and like any superfluous words. And it'll do pretty well. You could get like 50 books worth, probably 20 to 50 30-ish books worth of content inside of a GPT 4.1 prompt right now. That's like chatbots. Yeah. It's literally just prompting. Okay. All right, guys, let's do one more before I die from the splitting headache. Hi, I'm 15. I learned AI automation from you and started my agency. I've invested only a few dollars in this trying to get my first client. Well, great job, man. After watching your latest video of what I learned instead of automation, I'm very scared. This is the only business which I could do and had interested. I really want to do it. Can you make it clearer? Should I continue just for a bit until this model is working and earn some money to invest in any other business? My father supports me. Kudos. I've sent 100 cold emails to the looms, and I'm planning to send more. If I should not continue this for even some time, what exactly should I learn? For example, AI, machine learning, or Python? Please tell me exactly what I should learn. All right, man, you got to relax, Like, I understand that it seems like the sky is falling down right now, but the point I was making in that video is a lot more nuanced, for one. And two, you're quite young, and you have quite a long, illustrious life ahead of you, I'm sure. So whether or not a specific tactical implementation of a business model works is not the end of the world. I didn't even start in business till I was like 20, basically. So you're already you have like a 5-year head start on me, which is insane, considering that that is a third of your life. So what should you do? Yeah, you should keep on going, because I'm not trying to say that the industry is dead. All I was trying to say is, hey, if you want to get into this industry, you should spend more time focusing on business skills than technical skills, since technical skills are continuing to reduce in value. So to make it abundantly clear, keep on going. You're doing great with the cold emails, okay? Really, really well with the cold emails. Nice job here. Okay. Okay. You know what? Screw it. Let's answer one more. Nick, I know this isn't your domain, but if you're running a marketing agency, what would your thought process look like? How do you structure systems and manage teams and projects? Just looking for a high level overview. I got you, Abdullah. So believe it or not, an agency is an agency is an agency. A AI consulting business or an agency is very, very similar to a marketing agency. And in fact, I ran multiple marketing agencies, and that's how I got into this. And the value with learning agencies in general, as opposed to a particular instantiation of an agency, is you will find that all agencies tend to have the same shape. So you will have lead generation at the top end. Then those lead generation mechanisms, maybe ads or cold emails or some sort of cold calls or whatever, they will all funnel to some sort of sales event. That sales event is typically a disco call, or it's a disco closing call, a combined one. And then from there, you will transform the client through some payment mechanism or, proposal signing or agreement signing from prospect into client. Then you need to do some sort of onboarding. And once they're onboarded onto your business, then you need to fulfill the actual promise that you provided them. And inherent in that is also some sort of client management where you check in with the client, let them know how your shit is going, and so on and so forth, before delivering the project, with maybe a revision period, depending on if you're doing custom bespoke deliverables, that then cycles back all the way into, another transformation event where you resell them. Okay. So to make a long story short, I've actually already built examples of all of this stuff. I have a document right over here called the 3 automation agency sales flows, traditional agency sales system, 1 call close system, and then 2 call close system. This describes the front end of that stack. And then if you want more on what that agency looks like on the fulfillment side of things as well, then this document here, roadmap to 25K a month with automation, which you can download just by going on my site and entering your email address. I'll give this to you for free. Actually runs you through everything, including the project management and fulfillment, of an average agency, how to fulfill projects. Well, not how to, but the shape of it, and so on and so forth. So this is kind of like everything that you need, but I did want to answer the spirit of your question also myself, not just give you an asset, because I think it's important for everybody to understand. If you're good at one agency, you'll be good at basically any implementation of any agency, whether or not you're selling the same thing. The key is not to become a fantastic AI person or automation person, believe it or not. The key is to become a good business person, to understand the shape of a container, and then what you fill that container with. That is something that you can learn in a couple of weeks. The best landscapers in the world do not make the best owners of landscaping businesses. If you follow the traditional path of becoming really, really good at a specific service, and then you try and start a business around that service, which takes years and is what most people do, you're playing a losing game in the current economy. So you don't need to be very good at that in order to be good at the thing itself. Okay? All right, guys, let's do some brand stats really quickly, which is obviously the unbroken chain of stats I'm tracking. Shit, did I not log yesterday? I did not log yesterday. Sorry, folks. I don't know why. I guess I was just really tired. Well, why don't I interpolate between these two? Looks like I'm now at 0.4 to 0.5% growth on a daily basis, which is good. Let's now do my Instagram channel. For those of you guys that don't, I run an Instagram channel, and I'm in conversations with Anthropic for a sponsorship there, which would be freaking amazing if I ended up getting that, because I love that company. And then the daily updates channel, which is what you guys are currently watching right now, is at 14,131. Had a big spike. Why is that? Oh yeah, because I published a video just now. So what am I doing here? I'm just seeing my growth across all these. Is this super relevant or important to me? Like, does this make or break my business? No. But it like constantly brings my attention back to what I care about, which is, my subscriber count. And it's just, yeah, it's kind of neat, right? Have you ever seen those YouTube videos where it's usually some parent will take a photo of like their kid every single day or something, or like every week or whatever, and then they post a time lapse and you can see the people grow up, or some dude takes a photo of himself every day. That's basically it. Like, it's just nice to be able to go back and see. I just think it's really cool to have that continuity, I would say. So what are we seeing? The growth is working. I told you guys back here that, hey, in a week from now, my numbers are going to be way better. And then a week has passed. Now my numbers are way better. So we went up from an average of, you guys can't see this, but the average is so these 4 days here, average was 0.20. Last 4 days here, average has been 0.46. We basically doubled our growth rate on YouTube. What's the key? Believe it or not, the key is just posting. An interesting insight, which may help you guys, I don't know, depending, is like once you go really big on YouTube, and I'm not even really big, but once you go like big on YouTube, and I think you could say I'm big now, it becomes very hard to lose. Maybe this is a secret nobody will tell you, but it becomes very hard to lose. Odds are, oh nice, my following went up even more. Odds are you've assembled yourself like an audience of people that like you. And when people follow you on the internet, they follow you on the internet more than they follow like the stuff that you're talking about. Like I could transition from this business model to another business model. And, not everybody would stick with me, but like a lot of people would stick with me because they just think that, I'm cool. And they just like hearing how I approach problem solving and stuff. Right. So what's really cool is like when you grow big on the internet, yeah, I don't think you can grow too big to fail, but you can definitely grow like so big that like your number one lever is not actually being perfect. It's just like doing more of the stuff that has worked so far and then just like doing it for as long as possible. And I feel like this is a good example of it. Like, do I think that the content that I've been producing over the last week or so is like fantastic? I do. I think it's pretty high quality content with like higher informational value than most other places you could go. But do I think that like, this is like the most amazing, holy shit stuff on planet Earth? Like no, like, it's good, pretty good, 8 out of 10 for sure. But it's like, I'm sure it could be better if I spent more time, but that doesn't matter. It still got me almost 100,000 views in this video. Like in the next couple hours, 100,000 views in a single video, massive increase in my daily subscriber growth. And that one video I posted, by the way, I think it's by like $700 or $800. Like, look at this. This was before, right? 500 on average. It was like 900, 1,000 on average. It's crazy, man. All right. Anyway, enough yapping about that. I got a new hat. The reason I got a hat, you lugged my girlfriend over to the mech store, was I have these like really bad hair days, and like I have a crazy bedhead when I wake up, and I will just roll over and I'll be like, oh shit, I got to record my video. But then I'll actually be like, no, this is a piece of content that will be online for probably the next 100 years. I should probably make my hair look nicer. So then I'll have to go and like, comb it and add shit to it. Then it still ends up looking like shit anyway. So I decided I would get a hat. You ever wonder why all these big business guys wear hats? Let me tell you, it's a hack. You don't have to actually have to like put any effort in. Yeah. So that's cool. We've gotten a flood of new inquiries for Left Click, but I'm having trouble keeping up with all of them, to be honest. I initially wanted an SOP where I respond with a Loom video about the business, but so many of our inquiries are very unqualified. They're like people that run businesses that make less than $10,000 a month. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to automatically disqualify anybody that makes less than 10K a month from being able to work with Left Click. I know it sounds really annoying and terrible, but the reality is it's just like at that stage in your business, this is not the problem that we're not the people that you should be coming to solve a problem. So if I did this, probably half of my inquiries would disappear overnight. And then my SOP, which is I record a Loom video for everybody that wants a project, would be a lot easier to fulfill and maintain. So that's cool. And then, the community management side of things is going well. So I hired somebody to help me with the community management, which is cool. We're going to see how that goes. My goal is to get my daily time involvement from, 60 to 90 minutes down to like maybe 45 minutes or so in the near term, which should buy me more time to produce content for the program itself, like that, N8N for everybody or N8N accelerator or make.com accelerator within Maker School. So yeah, that's going to be cool. Things have been good. Things have been good so far. I got a weekly community call tomorrow too. So that's going to be good. But yeah, that agency stuff, definitely a bottleneck. Some content production stuff was a bottleneck. So, I was planning on having a couple of writers work with me for content. It just hasn't really, the scripting part just has been kind of rough, to be honest. So I think I may find an alternative solution to that. And then, I'm continuing to play around with the MCP Claude stuff that I talked about in yesterday's video. I really enjoy that. The whole idea that you could just have a single agent that like functions off of some source of truth database and then uses that to generate like all of the assets and deliverables in your business is crazy. I don't know why I'm sorting by most relevant. So you like my question? How do I know which video I'll answer it? Yeah, you can't. So that's pretty cool, huh? Anyway, hopefully you guys like this video that I just published. But I guess most of you guys will have already seen it. I'm going to leave it there because, yeah, man. I also decided to like slow down on the caffeine consumption and everything's hitting me at once today. So if I'm a little less information dense than usual, that's why. But, I have a lot of people that like, they express a lot of sincere interest and worry into my health. And they're like, Nick, you don't look okay, man. Is everything all right? I got a couple emails like, dude, like, are you all right? I want you to know that like, I'm doing this daily, right? Because I do this daily, you are going to see basically every fluctuation in my condition. When you don't do things daily, you get to selectively hide when you are not feeling your best, right? That's just how things work. So you only ever see the people that don't do things daily when they're at the top shape. Well, when I'm doing things daily, I don't really have a choice. I've committed to this. So some days I'm not going to look good. And some days I'm going to feel really sick, man, probably sound like shit. And it's okay. The most important thing for me is can I maintain that streak as long as humanly possible? So don't sweat it. Everybody gets sick and everybody feels like trash. Please nobody send ibuprofen to my address. That was kind of weird. Story on that later. Have a lovely rest of the day, guys. Thank you.